This is Jay Martin.
We have 20 minutes, 5 panelists. We're looking for your top stock picks, ideally at the conference, so people in the audience can go hunt the companies down and have a conversation if they want to. Before we get to that, I want to do a rapid fire introduction. So 30 seconds or less. Please tell the audience who you are and how you spend your time. Byron, I'll start with you.
Well, good morning. I'm Byron King. I spent 15 years with Agora Financial, and I'm still with them. I covered energy, mining, and minerals for much of that time. I'm a geologist by background, and more than that, you know, just don't worry about it.
Good morning. Kai Hoffman, CEO of the SOAR Financial Group. Part of that is Oren Inc. We track all the financings in the sector, have a very close eye on what is happening, who's raising money, who is financed, really important to know right now. And of course, doing some PR for companies as well. So quite excited to be here and appreciate the invitation, Jay.
Yeah, Kai has a good beat on the most important resource that a resource company can have, which is cash. More important than what's in the ground, especially right now. Not all the time, sometimes. Chen, over to you.
Yes, hi, I'm Chen Lin. I manage my family assets and also write a newsletter on the side that cover, of course, mining, energy, biotechs, and I'm quite excited about the market.
Thanks for coming, Chen. Gwen.
Hi, I'm Gwen Preston. I write a newsletter called Resource Maven about what I'm buying, selling, and thinking in the metals and mining space. Been doing it for almost a decade and focused on this sector for better or worse.
I love it. Thank you. Mickey.
Mickey Fulp, the mercenary geologist, exploration mining analyst, write newsletter, spend my time between, ideally, Vancouver, the Ozarks of Missouri, and New Mexico.
All right, well, thanks for coming, Mickey. It's good to see you again. All right.
Yeah, first time back in Canada for over 2 years. So.
All right, 2.5 years since we've done this show,
yes,
by the way. 2.5. So Byron, I'll start with you and share any companies you're curious about, any companies you're comfortable sharing with the audience, stock tips specifically, that's awesome, as much as you want.
Well, I'll keep it short. Walk over to the Yukon Pavilion, talk to Banyan Gold, look around, find Group 10 metals. Elsewhere, I believe we have Maple Gold here, and look at Defense Metals. That's 4. Banyan, terrific gold play up in the Yukon. I've followed them since they were, just an idea basically. Group 10 could not be doing better in terms of its Montana asset, copper, nickel, platinum group metals, bunch of other things. Fabulous, fabulous play. It was the last site that I visited before COVID hit, and then we shut down travel, for 2 years. But they're still going strong. Maple Gold, again. Sort of another Canadian Malarctic in the making over in Quebec, north of Val d'Or, and Defense Metals, which is just growing a basic resource of rare earth minerals, monazite mostly. Terrific board of directors, including the incomparable Luisa Morena, who I don't think she's here, but could not ask for a better chemistry brain, just one of the greatest in the world. So I'll let the others, follow that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Byron. Kai.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, you mentioned Banyan Gold. That was on my list as well. Just announced a 4 million ounce resource yesterday, so definitely worth taking a look at, because they also have cash, so they can continue working. It's not like they have to raise money now that they put the resource out, already halfway through their drill program for the year, so that's going to be exciting. A couple others you added. A tier of complexity for me is like having to be here at the conference. So Orezone is one I'm looking at, soon to be producer gold pour in Q3 this year. So very, very soon, on time, on budget, looking very, very positive. They've been beaten down like all the stocks most in this sector as well. So quite an interesting opportunity. Fireweed Zinc is another one, because I made an effort to look at companies that actually have cash in the bank or just raised money, and Fireweed just closed a $13 million financing. It's zinc, so it's not everybody's cup of tea, of course, but they're also in the Yukon, so really interesting story to take a look at. Teck just increased their stake in the company to 9%, so something makes me quite positive about the company. They've been beaten to a pulp to a degree as well. They raised hard cash at 70 cents, trading at, I think it was 57 cents this morning. So you're buying actually below Teck's entry point, which is quite enticing as well. And I mentioned, or fireweed, and maybe a bit of an outlier is Maritime Resources, soon to be producer, feasibility study pending, supposed to come out in June, right around PDAC actually, and of course it's a feasibility study, so we got to be a bit careful about cost and inflation, but Newfoundland 70,000 ounce producer, potential 70,000 ounce producer at a 30 million market cap. So those are the opportunities I look at.
I'm loving all the Yukon picks because the government of Yukon is one of our key partners, and if you haven't had a chance, make sure you check out their pavilion in the far corner along with the Klondike Trail. They actually take out an entire aisle of the conference just to showcase Yukon-based companies. All right, thank you, Kai. Chen, over to you.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm a little bit different. Okay, I'm looking at the sector. I also differentiate different metals. Right now, I'm very bullish on silver. I believe, okay, and I have talked at 140 if you join me. I believe the estimate of the Silver Institute is incorrect. So when they correct next year, the silver will really take off, or even before that. So I would use this downturn, try to accumulate more silver stock, okay, and silver related. And there's quite a few fantastic companies out there. I think one of the, yesterday was Silver X, and I've been there. It's Peru, high altitude, but they're producing and they cash flow positive already. So of course, if silver really have some, price fluctuation, it can be difficult later this year, but there could be, opportunities. And I saw that Empress Royalty, I also own that, and the royalty company, okay, a lot of silver in that. You de-risk right now, the market is not, it's very shaky, and then the price can go down. Okay, we have a good support. Gold had 1,800, silver at 20, but they may break down. But that will be a buying opportunity. Okay, so you think about one of those royalty company. Actually, they have a very solid balance sheet. They have a lot of cash. They have a lot of money coming in, and then they're not immune from the energy inflation, the cost inflation. So those are some ideas. And again, I really like silver.
Jen, could I ask you to add some context? You said you disagree with the forecast from the Silver Institute. That's why you're extra bullish on silver. Could you expand on that a little bit for the audience?
Yes, and I was more like a Jeff Christian kind because I saw you two deep debate of silver debate yesterday. I'm not a silver bag. I was really lying behind. I was watching the market, but I got a report from China, which is 99% of solar panel produced in China. If you know, a month ago, I look at the report per part, and I become Jim Lewis. So I was in shock. So basically, the point is, the solar panel industry has reached a tipping point that in order to increase the efficiency, the loading factor of silver has to go up and then go up dramatically. That's completely off. If you look at the Silver Institute report just a few weeks back, they look at loading factor going this, but if loading factor going up like this, it will be dramatically different, okay? And then people talking about Paris Agreement, and then I know one country will stick with Paris Agreement, which is China, because China is economy very weak. They need a stimulus. One of the way is the solar panel, and then China is the largest solar industry in the world.
All right, thank you. And Gwen, I saw you nodding along to a handful of things that were said there. So agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your opinion, and then your picks, please.
Thanks, yes. I mean, Chen, I always follow what Chen writes, and especially insights into the silver space and from what he sees from his Chinese contacts. So love to hear that stuff. I'm going to attack this from sort of metal to metal. I don't necessarily believe that right at today is the moment to jump into a bunch of stocks because there's too much uncertainty out there. I'll be talking about that when I'm on stage here at 1. But I do think it's really important to understand where you want to be positioned when we get through whatever this is that's happening, right? And we're going to get through it. It's not going to last forever. And I think the opportunity on the other side is going to be phenomenal. So when we get through this, I want to be exposed to uranium, and my first pick for that probably is Valor. I'm very excited about the exploration potential that's going to, I think, manifest there this year. I want to be exposed probably to coal, and so Morian is my pick there. It's a royalty company on a coal asset in Eastern Canada. The asset's not operational right now, but it's probably going to come back into operation, so it's sort of a double opportunity there. I want to be exposed to copper, and so I love copper exploration. I love copper porphyry explorers. You got to have a bunch in your portfolio because a bunch of them won't work, but if one does, it'll work really, really well. So some ideas for copper porphyry explorers that I like are Kodiak. I was just at their project. I think there's real opportunity for them to discover another porphyry beyond the one that they've already delineated. And K92, you know, they're drilling a deep porphyry target there that looks pretty phenomenal inside a very profitable and exciting gold production company. So those are some copper ideas. And then on the gold front, I think I like, Orezone was already mentioned, and I think going safe in gold right now really works. So go to companies that have cash, have clear catalysts or paths forward. And I mean, a company that's going to enter production in the next 6 to 9 months with an incredibly solid build and production team is a pretty safe bet there. So there's some ideas for me.
I love that, Gwen. And I appreciate how you opened that up, because often the best trade is patience, right? And when markets crash, like every market, which market's crashing right now? Oh, all of them, right? When that happens, right, we feel panicked often to act on it, right? We got to take advantage of this now, right? Make the move now, right? And that can lead us down the wrong path. So I appreciate that. Thank you for tempering our enthusiasm. Sometimes that's necessary. Mickey, over to you.
Well, I have never been as bearish on markets, world economy, equities. The world's in a mess. It's going to take a while to come out of it. We're dependent on the U.S. Fed to raise interest rates. That's going to generate a deeper recession than we are already in. And I think the last place you should go into are high-risk investments. I think the market's reflecting that with junior resource space. We have resource nationalism worldwide. We have an anti-development socialist agenda worldwide. So what I'm doing right now is basically taking profits when I can in junior resource space, breaking even. I'll do tax loss selling at the end of the year. And my favorite venue before has been taken away from us with the Biden administration moratorium on permitting. Nothing's going to get permitted for the next couple of 3 years. So I'm bullish, I'm long physical gold, and I'm long farmland. And I live in the heartland of the U.S., and those are what I'm now accumulating. The one area that I'm still bullish on in the Biden administration, and notice I said, Biden administration, has not touched yet, and that's permitting for gold deposits in Nevada. I can't tell you if that's coming or not, but it is, in my mind, the world's premier gold province for not only production, but exploration and development. So my one pick of all these stocks, which has got knocked down along with the rest of the market, would be Allegiant Gold. They are drilling at the East Side project with 1.4 million ounces right now. That will increase. It's a no-brainer. So you can pick that stock up. I didn't see it last couple of days. It's in the mid 30-cent range. Recently came up a high about 48 to 50 cents, and I think there's upside in that particular stock. It is a sponsor of my website, and I own the stock, so I'm not selling that one right now. So that's my sole pick.
I appreciate that, Mickey. So when you're pulling profits out right now, where is that cash getting reallocated?
Physical gold in my physical possession, gold bullion. I am intent, and I buy on dips. So if silver or gold goes below 1,800 again, that's a buy signal for me. And farmland in the heartland of America, which for me is the Ozarks of Missouri, which is one of my residences.
Yeah, got it. All right. Well, we heard a variety of perspectives and sentiment, and that's what we aim to do here, right? Is bring as many opinions, as many forecasts, as many predictions as possible, acknowledging that none of them really know what's going to happen next. And I'm not slamming my panelists. It's impossible to know what's around the corner. It just is, right? But we can make educated guesses by doing our research. We can listen to as many experts as possible and then steal the pieces of their strategy that work for us based on our time horizon, our risk tolerance, our available capital, all this stuff. We have to personalize it because nobody has a blueprint that's just going to work for everybody. It doesn't work like that, right? All of you are speaking today later, is that correct?
Yes.
If you cannot choose between all the presentations happening today, everything will be available on our YouTube channels after the conference, so make sure you check those out. One's called the VRIC, the other's called the Jay Martin Show. Thank you so much, everybody. Please give my panelists a round of applause.
This is Jay Martin.